Okay, hello and welcome back everybody. This is week number 10 of our distance learning experiment. Good to have you back. This week is a really important week for us in English 9 because we're going to continue working with Romeo and Juliet. Now we're going to divide this video up into two parts. The first part is going to be a review of what has already happened in the play and some of the bigger moments that we want to keep in mind as we move forward. And the second part of the video is just going to be a discussion of what this week looks like in our calendar, what Monday and Wednesday's work look like. We're also going to be talking about some extra work that you can tackle if you have some extra time, and then we're out of here. So let's get into it. So far, we've worked with Act 1 and Act 2 in Romeo and Juliet. We've learned that with the two major families in this play, the Capulets and the Montagues, really don't like each other. And in the world of Verona, Italy, which is the setting of the play, we have the two central characters, Romeo and Juliet, from the two different families. Romeo is a Montague, Juliet a Capulet. They meet purely by chance, they instantly fall in love, and they have this really electrifying connection. We see these two characters struggle with how to be together in a world that cannot allow their love to exist. And by the end of Act 2, we see that Romeo has run off to ask his good friend, the friar, who is really like a religious official in this location, in this place. He's run off to ask the friar to help him get married to Juliet in secret. Now, of course, Juliet is going to need some help. She can't just run away from her home and marry some other guy by herself. So she employs her special friend, who is kind of like the friar to Romeo, but her friend is the nurse. And the nurse is really maybe not what we would think of as like a medical nurse, but more of a care provider, like a nanny, or somebody who is really more of a mother figure to Juliet than Juliet's actual biological mom, and we'll see more of that later on. As we read Act 3, we want to appreciate how Shakespeare is building this story toward a climax. We also want to appreciate how there are several moments in Act 3 that significantly alter the trajectory of the plot, things that really throw a wrench in the gears, so to speak. So as we're reading this, we want to pay close attention to how these characters develop. We see Mercutio again, who is Romeo's friend and relative of the prince, and he's a very memorable character. We also see Benvolio, Romeo's cousin, and he acts as a sort of peacemaker. He doesn't want people to brawl in the streets. He doesn't want anyone to get in trouble. So we're going to see him show up and also try to keep the peace. We talked a little bit about everything in Romeo and Juliet that we want to keep in mind as we move forward. Let's get into the calendar now, and we'll talk about what this week looks like. Okay, so for Monday's class, you're going to be reading Act 3, scenes 1 through 3. Just like previous weeks, you're going to be taking notes on your own, jotting down your own thoughts, and also pinpointing those key passages, moments where people are saying things that you think are especially important. And those notes are just for your own records. Now for Wednesday's class, you're going to finish reading Act 3. So you're going to look at Act 3, scenes 4 and 5. When you're done with that, you're going to be responding to the response questions that are posted online, and you're going to be posting those responses to Turnitin.com. Now again, I urge you to use all the notes that you took on Monday's class to help you answer those questions, because they help you to, those questions help you to locate the most important moments in Act 3. Now, if you've got some extra time, I highly recommend doing this because I think it's really good. Check out the website and look at some of the clips from both of the Romeo and Juliet film versions that we talked about in an earlier video. You can see the 1968 Franco Zeffirelli version, which is very traditional, and the lines are almost identical to the actual play. And then you can compare that to the higher concept, newer version from the late 1990s, directed by Baz Luhrmann. The director's interpretations are very different, but I think they're really entertaining, and there's a lot to appreciate and enjoy there, so you can check those out. All right, so that's what this week looks like. We are reading all of Act 3. We're breaking it up, part of it on Monday, part of it on Wednesday. We're also going to respond to some response questions, and you're going to post your responses to Turnitin.com. If you have some extra time, check out those video clips, and then anything else that you need, questions, comments, concerns, post them to the group chat, and we'll make sure and respond to them there. So until we see each other again, be good to yourself, be good to everybody else. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.